I actually remember when I was way younger, I would actually go to a babysitter's to get on the bus every day, and she would have an original Sega, and we would play Sonic the Hedgehog on it. Such a fun game.
Despite growing up with the NES, most of my friends had Sonic, so I got to go over to their houses and play it. Though, I would usually end up being Tails, and I was pretty terrible at the game.
So my earliest memory of Sonic the Hedgehog is probably the old 90s cartoons, the goofy adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and the kind of dark, awesome Saturday morning Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon. Mainly because I didn't really have a Genesis growing up. That actually was my next door neighbor and my best friend growing up, pretty much. So eventually I did start playing the games, but it was with him. And we would play all the time. Like, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog 1 was awesome, and then when Sonic 2 came out and you could play as Tails and you could race against each other, we would just spend time like racing and, you know, playing the game together.
When I think back to my first time ever playing Sonic the Hedgehog, I was about 8 or 9 years old. I received a Sega Genesis for Christmas, and this game here, it was Sonic the Hedgehog 2. To date, it's still one of my favorite platformers, one of the best platformers of its generation. Had some of the best level and music design, and if Sega, you didn't think Sega could do any better. And then a few years later, they brought out Sonic 3, and then this game, Sonic & Knuckles, which had even better music and even better level design, arguably.
Back when I was just a little Anthony, I wanted a Sega Genesis so bad that I snuck into my parents' room to find out what presents I was getting. And there it was, the Sega Genesis that would be mine. I would sneak inside the closet, and I would just stare at the box, and I'd stare at Sonic's image outside on the box, and I would just imagine myself playing it.
My grandfather gave me a choice between the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo. Which one do I want for Christmas? And I said Genesis because all my friends were getting Nintendo and I wanted it to be different. So I got the Genesis. Honestly, I wasn't too happy with the game selection except for Sonic. Playing Sonic the Hedgehog 1 was a great experience. It felt like Super Mario, but on hyper speed, and going through the levels, very fun. The casino levels, the underwater labyrinth. Oh my god, I hate that music. You know what music I'm talking about.
Especially anywhere in water, because I didn't have a frog suit or anything, so generally I would suffocate pretty quickly.
Even now, if I just hear that running out of air sound, it just makes me anxious for something, and I don't know why.
I remember when I was a kid, my brother, whenever we used to play Sonic 2, he would pick up the other controller, and he was very young at the time, 2 or 3. He would play as Tails, and I would be Sonic. And he couldn't affect the game very much, which was good for my 9-year-old selfish gaming self. But he could feel like he was participating, and it was some good actual bonding time. That's something I'll always remember.
I was an instant fan of Tails. At the time, I was like, what? 2 players can play at the same time? This isn't something that Mario can do, right? And plus, Tails can hold on to Sonic and let him fly past obstacles for a certain amount of time. I was like, that's super neat.
Love the game, but just hard as shit for me. It's just actually one of those games that I just cannot beat. I can take Mega Man, but you give me Sonic, and I'm just, you know, you get me for a little bit, I have a couple of rings, and all of a sudden, and yeah, just game over.
Sonic the Hedgehog 3, I get Knuckles. Knuckles is badass. I won't apologize for it. Badass. I love the Sonic Hedgehog series. The Sega Genesis was...
And here it is, Sonic's 20th birthday, and it's just been fantastic. He's had some rough times, some great times. Sonic Generations looks great. Let's hope it's as good as the older games. And Sonic, I hope you have a 40th anniversary.
I always kind of preferred Sonic because of the speed. Just, you know, going through the levels as fast as you can, you know, going through those corkscrews, going through those loops. It was just a lot of fun, and can't wait to see what Sonic Team does next.
Well, anyways, happy birthday, Sonic.
So for Sonic's birthday, I tell you, thank you, sir. Thank you, Sonic, for the memories.
Sega, thanks for a great game, and Sonic, happy 20th birthday. I can't wait to play your next game, Sonic Generations.
Kind of makes me feel old, but, you know, he's one of the mainstays in gaming today.